Now let's get to the the highly disputed wrestler of the year. I think it's easy from this podcast to see that my wrestler of the year is MJF, hands down. And I know that me and Aaron disagree about this, and we're going to get into why we disagree about this.
We should let Mo and Eric go first.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, we'll wrap it around and then let y'all.
Right, it'll come back around.
Yeah, I'll go to the bathroom. I'll get some more water. Mo, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna make this long and short. My wrestler of the year will forever always be Bryan Danielson. I think that we all just said his 60-minute match with MJF was spectacular. He also then went on to have a 5-star match in Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing. He is on his way to wrestle one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers, if not one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Okada, at Forbidden Door. And it is rumored that he's going to bring his buddy Nigel McGuinness out of retirement and wrestle him at Wembley.
That would be amazing.
I'm telling you, this man, he's talking about he don't want to hold a world championship. I think we might need to get that world championship onto Bryan Danielson, because this run that he is on this year, if it goes the way we think it is, they're also building Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson number 2 or 3 at this point. So all I'm saying is he's on a run right now this year that is out of this world. I think the only thing that I would do that would be a demerit against him, I think that promo he cut against Okada in the desert was beautiful. I don't personally think, out of the people I know y'all are going to choose, I don't think he's a stellar promo against them. I think he's a good promo. I think hearing him on commentary has been really fun, because we are seeing a little bit of that dynamic with him and his character finally. I would love to see Planet's champion Bryan Danielson come back, but all that to say, my wrestler of the year, the wrestler in my heart, mind, and soul, goes to the GOAT, the literal GOAT. Who gets my GOAT goating? Bryan Danielson.
Very nice. Very nice.
Mo on these goddamn speeches right now is getting me fired up.
I like that. I like that as a dark horse.
I also like, you just have to understand too, I'm a BCC for life. People have their critiques against Moxley, against Yuta. Claudio can get lost in the shuffle sometimes, but at the end of the day, that is my faction. That's my team. I'm riding and I am dying for them.
Well, Mo, like, regardless of your bias, I do like that as a dark horse, because I think that you make some really good points, but what it comes down to for Bryan is his health. I think you have a good point, and I think that if he is feeling up to it, he can have a Brock Lesnar type reign with that belt, where he's an attraction, because he's becoming that attraction. If you're fighting Okada and Nigel McGuinness, matches like that, those are attraction matches, and that's perfect for him. I think if he wants to take extra dates and hold that championship, you have a good point. He could do that, and I think that maybe by the end of this year, there could be an argument for Bryan as wrestler of the year if he does that, because there is an argument for quality over quantity, which is what we're going to get to when me and Patrick argue. But there is an argument for that if you're doing it the way that Bryan is doing it. So I like that.
And I think that would be better for him too, as like, you know, he got the concussion scare. He was out for a while. We thought he was already retired. If he does the Brock route where he's like, he's champion, but we don't see him that much, he's taking it a little bit easy. Not the Roman Reigns route, more the Brock route, like a part-time champion. I'm okay with that if it'll extend his health and extend
he's doing that now because he's on commentary. He's doing that now because he's on commentary doing matches.
Start now. Start it now so we can get that belt on him by my birthday, by October.
There you go. Yes.
Well, wasn't the thing though also like he just doesn't want the belt? Like he
says that, but he needs to shush.
That's like Britt too. Britt's like, I don't really want to be champion again because it's like it's a lot of there's a lot that goes into it. But I was like, you're going to be champion.
Right.
You have to.
At least
Britt
TBS.
has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Aaron. Or wait,
am I tossing it to Eric?
Eric does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So yesterday I was going through it, and I was like just super 50-50 between MJF and Bryan Danielson. And I was like, let me sleep on it. And I woke up, and I was just like going, and my heart told me what to choose. And what I chose was our boy, Mr. Danielson.
Woo!
Yes.
We won.
That's
We got him.
I did. It was a lot of that was honestly the one that I had to think on the hardest. And it's honestly, it's very 50-50 because obviously like MJF has been killing it, and he's had, just like with wrestling and promos and everything, like, he's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I just like, and Bryan, he's done the same, he's had, great promos and great matches, obviously. So I don't know. Yeah, it was tough, but I went with Bryan. I agree. Championship run would be fucking awesome. It could be what, something similar to what we could have seen with Punk when they wanted to give him the title, which probably won't happen anymore now because that just seems to be bad luck for him. Every time he wins the title, he gets some sort of, bad injury in that match.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I don't need to go on too much about it because Mo got, you got it all in there. So
Well, just to give you space, Eric, if there is anything, I didn't say, definitely share it because.
I mean, no, you had the passionate speech. So, but well, the last thing I will say, just as BCC in general, yeah, I don't know. I feel like every day I'm loving like that faction more and more, and they're totally. It's just like, I mean, it's like the fucking like NWO, like when they first came about, and how fucking awesome the NWO was for like a good while until they added too many people. But so hopefully BCC learns from that mistake. But yeah, nah, I'm all about it.
Word. Yeah. And we also have to remember that MJF did a Show Tunes promo
very
this
true.
year.
Very
Long
true.
Island, baby, Long Island.
Where he got a key to the city. And then the mayor got booed like a motherfucker.
Yeah, like I said, all of that stuff, golden, and loved it. And it was a tough choice, but yeah, I ended up going with Bryan.
Yeah. All right,
So
Aaron.
Pat, are we? Oh, you're letting Aaron go first.
So before I go, let's just make sure everybody watching this or listening to this podcast, if you haven't before, we all know Patrick is a Long Island shill, and it's okay. That's fine. But I'm going to do like I did on every other topic, and I'm going to give some people shout outs. So I wanted to choose Rhea Ripley. But much like I was saying with Mo, quality over quantity works, but sometimes you need some quantity. And I think for her, the issue with her has been not the level of competition, but the level of story that has been within that women's championship. We saw it recently with her squashing Natalya. It's like Natalya's great and all, but come on now. Yeah. But I love what Rhea's been doing, and I think that she is really kind of claim her stake to that Charlotte spot right now. Sami Zayn is another guy who, I think he's the people's champion of wrestling in general right now. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't choose him. MJF is a guy who is, if I was playing WWE 2K23, and which now will be AEW Fight Forever, spoiler alert, and I was making a wrestler, I would make that person as a wrestler and take them through the career mode. Like, he is the quintessential professional wrestler for what I love to see in professional wrestling, which I think will speak volumes about why he is not my wrestler of the year. Because biased-wise, I want to choose MJF. Personally, he is probably my favorite performer to watch right now, besides Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens has been my favorite wrestler for the last 6 years. But MJF is my favorite wrestler to watch right now. But he's not the wrestler of the year to me. And the wrestler of the year to me is Cody Rhodes. And I will say this. The reason why Cody Rhodes is my wrestler of the year over MJF, it goes back to the quality over quantity thing. MJF has had the best match of the year, bar none in my opinion. But Cody has consistently performed in every match he's had, and it's been a banger. And every promo he's had has been a banger. And not only that, he's done it probably 5 times more than MJF. I looked it up before we started potting. I looked it up. And this is per, what's the website? This is per Cage Match, okay? This year, MJF has had, can you guys guess how many matches MJF has had this year?
He doesn't have many, so it's probably like 3 or 4.
Including house shows, he's had 5.
I was going to say 4 or 5, yeah.
Guess how many matches Cody Rhodes has had, including house shows this year?
Probably like 20.
Yeah.
How about you double that, Eric? Cody Rhodes has had 42 matches this year.
Damn.
Including house shows. He's been on a house show loop with Finn Balor and LA Knight lately, which makes me think LA Knight's probably going to get the rocket strap soon. The rocket strap soon, which is cool. But to me, hands down, Cody Rhodes is the wrestler of the year. And I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I'm not a Cody Rhodes fan and never have been. But what he's done this year has – his stuff in AEW was great too. Like, I liked his Nick Aldis stuff early. I missed a lot of that really early TNT Championship stuff with Brody Lee with the dog collar stuff. I missed a lot of that, but I heard it was really good. Mm-hmm. But what he's doing now is, to me, all time.
Well, this is kind of like, and we brought it up. We talked about this. Me and Aaron got into an impassioned fight one night for a long time. I think you missing out on Cody in AEW is why this like means more to you, because to me it's kind of a rehash of everything he did in AEW. Like, it's the same promos with insert different person kind of. When he was starting with the Roman Reigns stuff, it was the my dad did this to finish the story stuff, and it's like that's all he did in AEW. So it just kind of like felt like the same thing over and over again with like the less cool looking cock pieces on his pants. But
he's the gimmick to another territory, and just
it's the same gimmick, and then like it is kind of just the hard time stuff that he's doing right now. The cast match was stupid as hell.
That was dumb.
Like, Brock is probably what I'm liking more in this feud than Cody, with his Undertaker duster, looking like a goth cowboy.
Well,
and
to
just
Aaron's
like
point though, I mean, at least to your point too, Pat, is like
goddamn right there. That's a good old boy.
Cody's gimmick didn't work in AEW. So, and that's why he's doing it now, and people suspected that it was more for a WWE audience.
Yes.
So wouldn't you is that a demerit against him for doing it again and realizing that it works, or is that a positive for him to be like?
It's a positive. I think it's harder to be a white meat babyface at that level. I think being a heel is easier, and that's why MJF is naturally a heel. Cody is kind of a tweener naturally, but I think it's harder to be a hot babyface. Cody and Sami Zayn are the 2 hottest babyfaces in wrestling, and I think that's harder to do than to be a heel.
That's the other thing. I feel like if Sami stuff didn't happen, maybe I'd give more to Cody in WWE. But Sami like overshadowed Cody to me as far as like white hot babyface.
That's fair.
Cody just seems like Cody's good at what he's doing, but it is somewhat the WWE thing that they love to do, where they're like, "This is our new toy. Let me shove him down your throat," and it's got a little bit of that for me. He's been wrestling a lot, but it's like, whatever. He wrestled like every Raw that he was on, and I was like, these are fine matches that Cody's definitely going to win. He beat somebody who did he beat in dress shoes?
Was it Chad Gable? I can't remember.
It was one of them, and I was just like, all right, if that counts as a match, whatever. And we talked about
he did a springboard stunner in loafers. That's incredible.
Were they the like his like fancy? What's the like red bottom? What are those things called with the red soles on them?
Louis
They're
Like
like,
the Louboutins.
like Louis Vuittons, yeah.
You know his wife is black.
We also
Cody Devontae, baby.
And
Cody
he will
Devontae.
remind you every chance he can get.
yeah, he will.
This man ended racism.
Cody Luther King Jr. Love him. He's
The
my
way
vote.
Cody's dressing, you think he's gonna bring racism back lately? You know, like, I don't know, but blonde hair, blue eyes with a American flag on his dick, going out there to Cody Cutter people. But we had like we kind of talked about this, but you were going off of like how many matches has he had, and it's like, yeah, he's had a bunch of matches, but like so has Seth. You know, like Seth arguably had the more fun to watch better matches.
It's hard not to add Seth to this conversation as well, but I will say this.
And Seth got the belt, baby.
I will say this about the Cody matches, right? MJF's at 5. Cody's at 42. Now, that in itself in a vacuum does not mean that Cody is wrestler of the year. The reason I give it to Cody is because every match he's had on TV has been fucking great. So it's like
every match that MJF's had has been
only had 5.
historic. He doesn't have to have all these matches.
He doesn't, and that's my point. He doesn't, and I think there's after hearing Moretta and Eric, I think there's more of a case for Brian in my opinion.
There probably is more of a case for Brian, but I am a Long Island shill.
And I love MJF, and he's my number 2. But I'll say, man, like having this conversation makes me think this is really interesting. I'm excited to see how the year pans out because, like, it's making me think about Brian. He could be right there, and Seth too. We got to see how this.
He is having like a historic run right now. Like he's finally living up to like the American Dragon moniker that like. I mean, he's been good all along, but being the leader of the BCC, I think, has taken like his promo stuff and his character stuff up to the level that his matches were on.
Also, I want to see the day where a woman wins Wrestler of the Year outright, and I think that Rhea Ripley has the potential to do that, and I hope that her run continues to. I think the Judgment Day stuff has elevated her to a China-like level, which is great. But the issue is the same issue that it was with China, where it's like, and it sucks because there is competition on that roster, but it's like the way that they book them is just so shitty.
Well, that's the thing. You're never going to get a woman being like the outright Wrestler of the Year until you get the company to back them like they do the men. Like, yeah, Rhea and Charlotte had like one of the best matches of the year so far. And the storyline leading up to it was like 2 weeks long or whatever. Yeah, like it's like you're not giving them the time. Whereas like Dom is getting more of a fucking storyline than Rhea Ripley is. Rhea just like comes out, Dom says mommy, and then Rhea just like stands behind him.
Arguably they're using her to help get him heat and pushing Dom more arguably, which is like kind of ass backwards.
Yeah.
You know? But
and I will to give a positive to WWE, I will say this, that they at the very least, I think you have multiple women right now who can be a contender for Wrestler of the Year or just like Match of the Year. I feel like AEW is so far and away from entering that conversation right now with the women's division.
I disagree.
Listen, prove to me.
So here's my thing. I do think that they're far and away, but I think that they're not as far as you think because they have the talent to do it. And I think that like perfect example is the Outcast, which is a terrible name for a group. But the Outcast, they've grown on me, and Toni Storm as a heel is awesome. Ruby Soho is awesome. Willow Nightingale is awesome. Taya Valkyrie, who's probably going to go heel soon, is awesome. Anna Jay is awesome. I
mean, they all are. They all are.
Awesome. They are literally all they are. All they need is to put more resources into that division. They have.
That's all I'm saying.
Talent.
That's all I'm saying.
They have talent.
And I think with Jade not having the TNT belt, that opens her up to actually going into the main women's roster and being a top heel there. because Jade has just been in that TNT belt division for so long, which is just like the feeder belt, basically, like feed
TBS,
somebody to. Yeah, but TBS. Oh, sorry.
But I'm saying that like they have the talent, they just don't put the energy into it. I mean, you can say the same about WWE, but at the same time, we all saw that Rhea Charlotte match.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the storyline was doo-doo.
They give them time for sure.
Right. We saw Bianca and Asuka. It was fine, but it was.
I don't even think there was a storyline to that. I think they were just like,
it was like,
here you go, they're wrestling.
Yeah, it was like mist in your face. That's the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but the incredible match, and I feel like of the matches I've seen out of the women in AEW, they're good. I hope, and this is my hope for the next 6 months. I hope we see a change, and especially with Chris Statlander back. And Toni Storm doing incredible heel work with the AEW Women's Championship. I hope that we can say a different or have a different narrative at the end of the year with the AEW Women's division. Now that we got new champs.
I think
totally.
Like Patrick said, Jade is a good cog in the wheel because we saw Toni Storm in that press conference say, "Tony, feed me Jade." So I don't know if she's fully ready yet, but I want to see them give her the ball and see if she can run with it as a face to go against a top level wrestler in a program to learn. You know,
I think Jade's definitely like run with it because I don't think you were watching when Jade started. Jade was like so green that her matches were like really botchy, and like she got brought in as like Shaq's person or whatever.
Right.
Wasn't that like the original thing?
And Cody was involved in that too, wasn't
it? It was supposed to be
Yeah.
Cody and Brandy versus Shaq and Jade, and then Brandy got pregnant.
That's right.
Right.
And they put Red Velvet in.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and then Red Velvet got her ass beat for 6 months.
Shout out to Red Velvet though. I love Red Velvet.
I love Red Velvet
Again,
too.
where is Red Velvet? Is she injured, or are they just not booking her on TV?
Is she on Ring of Honor right now? I think maybe.
No.
Also, speaking of Ring of Honor, you got to give a shout out to Athena too, who's having an
come on,
coming into her own as a badass heel. She could be part of the Blackpool Combat Club, and I would love that.
They need to get her out of Ring of Honor and put her back on TV because she was doing incredible work right now. No shade to Ring of Honor, but like that would bring people to watch Dynamite or Collision, whatever you want to put her.
They got Collision now. They got room. They got room.
But going back to, I do think Jade has like done phenomenal work for herself over time. She's become like a match that I want to see every time.
Totally. She
really
grew on me a ton. Like, cause at first, like you were saying, I was like, I don't care, you know? And it was like, I don't know. I was like not into the fact that she, you know, with the undefeated streak and whatnot. But then, at some point, I don't know. Yeah. She just like, she got better and her matches like started being awesome. And same deal. If it would be like, you know, a pay-per-view match with Jay or something, I'd be like super stoked for it.
Oh yeah, if you like this clip, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the channel for the latest episode of the podcast. Dig it!